What is going on, guys? It is me, DevilNeverCry, and I'm back again with some more DMC5 coverage. Now today's video and its topic is going to be focused on Dante and his bike here. So for those of you who don't know, today in fact an interview dropped with Itsuno and Matt Walker, who are the director and producer on DMC5 respectively. And it was an interview done by games.de, which is a German gaming media news outlet, and they asked a few interesting questions, most of which we got answers to, which we've had before, but there was one question in particular that caught my attention. So this is games.de here. And before we get into it properly, I'd like to thank DMC5 Info as well as Sesha for translating this interview, because obviously it's in German. A lot of the DMC5 community isn't German speaking, so they asked a very interesting question. They asked whether or not this is the same bike that we see in DMC2, and we got an interesting answer. It's not the same bike. So Itsuno goes like outright and says that. But interestingly enough, he does say that he's looking forward to players finding other connections between DMC5 and DMC2, which is fairly interesting if you ask me, because we finally get confirmation that they're not the same bike. Previous speculation suggested that it was the same bike, but being in the demon world and in hell for so long had morphed it. Well, people were saying that it's the same bike, but it was just possessed by a demonic entity. But all that speculation has been cut. They're not the same bike. That's 100% confirmed. Now, as for current speculation on where the bike is from, people seem to think that it's the Red Eye bike from the animated series DevilNeverCry, the TAS, the anime. And for those of you who don't remember this episode, I believe it was like episode 2, Dante and Lady encounter a lethal motorcyclist, right, who is essentially a demon who has the ability to transform into a bike and travel at superhuman speeds, with I believe Dante even going so far as to say that it's beyond the capable means of any mechanical engineer. Like, you can't engineer a bike that goes as fast, and it's been killing a lot of people on the highway. So obviously they go and confront it, and it turns out to be a demon, a very powerful demon at that. Apparently Ebony and Ivory couldn't even put a dent in it, and the reason I suggest that it might be the same bike, the reason other people as well as me, I'm not the first person to have come up with the speculation, just so you know, is the fact that the bike has a saw that runs down its torso here, when it's obviously in its standard true demon form. It's got a saw that runs straight down the middle of it, which interestingly enough, if we go back to the image of Dante here, these bikes also have a circular saw in them, as you saw in the Devil Breaker trailer that dropped at Gamescom. Now that's rather interesting, and considering Itsuno and the team are pulling from all sorts of DMC5 content here, like the novels and the games and whatnot, it's definitely plausible. There's nothing that says it's not. We've had Morrison, who's from the anime. He's been put in, although he's changed now. It's still the Morrison that we know. So who's to say that it's not the same bike? It's interesting. But again, we finally get confirmation that they're not the same bike. But we get confirmation that there are other ties to DMC2 in some sort of way. Whether this means that Lucia will make a return, I'm not sure. Whether it means that goddamn coin from DMC2 ends up being some sort of devil arm. Well, you know what? I reckon that will probably end up being some sort of taunt, no doubt. But enough of that. I want to sort of get into the gameplay that we saw. So let me hop over to YouTube here. If I get this trailer up, there's a snippet of gameplay right at the end. All this. This is why I hate YouTube these days. All these recommended channels. It's like, I just want to see my subscriptions page. You don't need to show me anything else. So if we go over to the end of this trailer here, and we take a look here, you can see that the bike will definitely be used for traversal, 100%. So obviously a high time. Why is this quality so terrible? Is that any better? That's a little bit better. Let's bump this up. So it's interesting because it's definitely going to be used for traversal here. As you can see, he transforms the bike. Level of detail here is crazy. But again, we've got saws here. You know, saws. There's clearly a connection between the two bikes. The fact that there are demons capable of transforming into objects is interesting. You don't really see that much. I mean, obviously, apart from being a devil arm, that's what I mean. It's not something you see in any of the other sort of DMC content, but it's interesting. Again, I'd like to add this is some sort of highway because this is just a long ass tunnel. Potentially a vehicle section for Dante. I'm not too sure. Just like potentially Bayonetta or something like that. I don't know. But the bike, you'll definitely be able to use the bike. Obviously, we see it being used as a saw here. But there's a section where he sort of stingers with the bike, as you can see here. Definitely going to be able to use that to move around the level, 100%. I think. This is a long highway. I'm assuming that Dante's obviously got access to the bike. He's more capable of moving around a large map at higher speeds. Potentially, he's going to have large open levels. Not like DMC2, just like to state, you know, nothing too crazy like barren and desolate, like where there's no enemies or nothing. But I think he's definitely going to have larger levels than Nero because he's able to move pretty fast here. So yeah, that's just a quick video on the bike. Some people have been asking me to do this, so I thought I'd just go ahead and give my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about the bike. Do you think the red eye theory holds any weight? Do you think it's a form of like Pandora at all? Because it might be Pandora might return from DMC4, considering it had what, 666 different forms, and we only saw a couple of those. Do you think it's a devil arm like from a boss that Dante killed in Hell, or do you think it's going to be from a boss that we kill in DMC5? People are speculating. People are saying, in fact, that one of the bosses in the new trailer with all these spindly horns, the one that shoots those light arrows at Nero, they say that the horns, or just the design in general and the aesthetic are pretty similar. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. It has been DevilNeverCry. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.